Hello and welcome to another edition of the Rockies Now podcast. Excuse me, I'm just drinking water right now. I think this is episode either 90 or 91 of the podcast, guys. So we're getting close to 100. So we should be able to reach that, eclipse that this off season. How are we boys doing today?
I'm doing fantastic.
Man, right now we're watching, as we speak, we're watching the NLDS Game 4, excuse me, in LA. Got to say, I love that Major League Baseball allowed the Phillies to wear the powder blues. Again, I was just saying this a minute ago. It just they need to have, them wear special uniforms during the playoffs, more marketing opportunities for baseball. And yet, Tom alluded to right before we started that Major League Baseball won't allow teams to wear, City Connects, which is ridiculous. Wouldn't you want to have more marketing for that, especially for the City Connects? But anyways, what a playoff, man. I mean, we're seeing some crazy stuff here. We're going to go to a Game 5 between the Tigers and the Mariners. I know Adam's going to keep it a close eye on that. We will as well. I told Adam this. I'm not really rooting for anybody at all necessarily. I mean, it would be cool to see the Mariners go to the ALCS. I mean, they got their first playoff win the other day. And like forever since 2001. Detroit, they're obviously a fun team to watch. A lot of fun young players. They're definitely a model for the Rockies to look after in terms of younger players and rebuilding and everything. And then, of course, we have the Cubs and the Brewers. That's going to be a fun finish in the series for sure. Of course, last night, the Yankees got eliminated by
last night.
Yeah,
by the best team in the American League.
They're so good, man. I mean, and the guy that closed the game, former Rocky Jeff Hoffman, that was awesome to see. And Rymack, shout out to Rymack, got a home run yesterday, and that was awesome to see. And he's been great. I mean, not to mention that famous catch they had the other game in Game 3, I believe. Man, I mean, a Jeter-esque moment. I mean, I still think Jeter's was way better, but still. To go out and make that catch in the dugout and to have the Yankee crowd in the Bronx to have your back, man, that was awesome. And the reaction by the pitcher was just immaculate, as the Gen Zers would say. Man, it's been a fun postseason. Of course, we would wish the Rockies were in there, but it's been kind of fun. And of course, we're keeping on everything, but you guys were talking about your World Series predictions that you started at the end of last year. I don't remember mine. I think I had the Phillies in the World Series. Maybe I had them winning it because, again, guys, I mean, this is it for Philly. If they lose tonight, I mean, you're talking a lot of players leaving and free agency. This is do or die situation for Philadelphia. And so if you're Philly, you're really hoping you win tonight and try to beat the Dodgers here, but I don't know, man. It's gonna be interesting finish here in the last few innings here. So, Tom, what are your thoughts on the playoffs so far, and any players that stand out to you that could be helpful to make their team go to the World Series this year?
Well, the one thing for sure, I both in preseason, you can go check out my White Sox Now page if you want to see my official predictions. My preseason picks for the World Series was the Phillies and the Red Sox. However, before the postseason began, I picked the Phillies versus the Mariners. So I was like as you pointed out, this is a kind of could be the big last hurrah with this Phillies core of Harper, Real Muto, and I say that because who knows what's going to happen with Schwarber this offseason. But the one thing is, if they're going to do this, they're going to earn it because they're doing this without Zach Wheeler. So Sanchez, Nola, they got to really step up. The other thing, so if they're going to earn it, if they're going to win this, they're going to earn it because right now the Dodgers, I don't think they're going to repeat, but they're still a formidable team. And, the exciting thing is when you look at the other side, Seattle and Detroit, two teams who really, I think, want it. But the point is, no matter who wins tomorrow, they got to go to the Blue Jays. That's going to be a tough task because, I mean, look at that team from rotation to bullpen to lineup to
Vladdy,
again.
man.
Well, a lot of people just didn't seem to give them, at least what I was seeing and reading, didn't give them the credit I think they rightfully should have gotten. And as Adam, of course, points out to. So, by the way, Adam, happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday to Adam.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Where's that sound effect I had saved?
That is quite the happy birthday balloon you got there over the side of your head right there.
It's a boss's day. Oh, thank you. It's a boss's day. My girlfriend got it for me in anticipation of boss's day, which is a week from now.
But anyway, to close out,
Let's go.
But happy birthday to you. And anyway, sorry to close out my comments. It's going to be exciting. I think the league's best teams, I think, are in it right now. So it is going to be interesting. Again, being a White Sox fan from Chicago, I'm not rooting for the Cubs. I hope the Brewers can close it out tonight. Come at me, Cubs fans. Sorry, I live on this. I'm a South Side guy, so I'm sorry, but we'll see. Anyway, the point is, it should be. I'm just excited to see how this finishes out, and of course, like right as we speak right now, it's the 8th inning, and the game is tied at 1-1. So we'll see. But all in all, we'll see how this works. We just see how it plays out, and because this could be a very interesting offseason to say the least. Because not just with who could be available, but also with the CBA looming at the end of next season.
Yeah, it's gonna be a wild ride, man. And yeah, it just keep watching, and we'll wait and see. But I mean, with the Yankees, man, and some people are talking about that this is just simply not the Yankees of old, obviously, and it's just not the same vibe. This is definitely a worse Yankees team, despite making the playoffs, and they've been in the playoffs. Of course, they were in the World Series last year, but it's just like the Blue Jays. They didn't just beat the Yankees. You saw the reaction from them yesterday. They're a team that's hungry for the World Series. And I think they're definitely could be the American League representative in the World Series, I think. And, it's going to be interesting to watch, of course, Vladdy, with everything going on with him, like in the offseason with his contract. And there was a lot of rumors about him getting traded. And then Bo Bichette having I guess, a revival type of year. Everybody in that lineup is playing for each other. And I feel like this is awesome for the Blue Jays. And in some ways, again, I'm not rooting for anybody here, but it would be cool to see the Blue Jays in the World Series and, maybe hoist the Commissioner's Trophy for Vladdy and for Toronto. I mean, to see Bo Bichette win a World Series ring would be really, really cool. And as long as anybody except the Dodgers that win the World Series, we'll take it either way, man. I mean, but ultimately, of course, we want the Rockies to be in this position sooner rather than later. I think that's going to wrap up that first segment of the playoffs. Moving into our second segment of the show tonight. Adam, what do you have here?
Well, I wanted to talk about the playoffs myself. My team
gotta give a shot at the birthday guy here.
My team is in the playoffs. So, yeah.
Sorry about that.
I don't necessarily agree with Tom about, or you about the Dodgers. I think if the Dodgers win this series, they will be in the World Series. But as far as the Blue Jays are concerned, they kind of look like the team to be in general. And so I think whoever, Tigers or Mariners tomorrow, whoever wins that game, which I am super nervous about, by the way, whoever wins that game is kind of just being fed to the Lions, to be honest with you. I just think that the Blue Jays are a better overall team. Of course, I hope that the Mariners take care of business tomorrow and that they can go into Toronto and break some hearts like they did before. They're no strangers to that in the playoffs, so I don't think they'll be intimidated to play there. But Toronto is just they're so hard to strike out. They make contact. They aren't a home run or nothing team. They're just solid all around, and they've got a plethora of arms. But going into the Seattle game real quick, a lot of people are very confident because we've beaten Tarek Skubal 3 times this year, right? And you can look at it one of two ways. You've seen Tarek Skubal multiple times. You know his repertoire. You probably have a good feel for him, kind of like the way that the Tigers got a good look at Spire too many times and just went off on him yesterday. So that you could look at it that way, or you could look at it the way that the Mariners' luck is about to run out, and you can't beat a guy like Tarek Skubal 4 times in one season. So I'm kind of interested to figure out which one's going to happen. I think the Mariners are very dependent on home runs, right? And that's not really an opinion. That's just a fact. And so when the Mariners don't hit home runs, they have a hard time scoring. But they did piece together some hits in Detroit that they weren't able to do at home. I think at home, the Mariners tend to squeeze the lumber a little too tight. They feel the pressure of the city and the home crowd, and that may play against them tomorrow as well. But one thing, Tom and Steve, that I really want to talk about in that series is if you're going into a game 7 and I know the Mariners haven't announced their starter yet, but if it's Kirby, right? If you've got Kirby and Dan Wilson on one side, and you've got Tarek Skubal and AJ Hinch on the other side, I don't really care where that game's being played. Who would you rather have on your side in a deciding game? I would rather have AJ Hinch, who's really put on a masterclass with a less talented team in this series and the best pitcher in Major League Baseball, than having a home field advantage, because I really don't think Tarek Skubal is going to be affected by that at all. Now, I could look back at this podcast tomorrow, Steve, and be like, the Mariners blew them out. It was 8-0. They hit 4 home runs in the first inning. You never know, right? But I think the Mariners are in for a tough challenge, and having home field may matter in certain moments in this game, but I think that the Tigers have the advantage here because they have the experienced manager and the best pitcher in baseball. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. But I do think that the Dodgers will annihilate the Brewers. I don't trust the Brewers at all. And I think the Dodgers, if they win this game, they will find their way back to the World Series for sure. I think it'll be Toronto and the Dodgers if the Dodgers win this series. Whoever wins this series is going.
Yeah.
Oh, next month. Ooh, almost. Almost.
Man, my heart's racing right now, man. Yeah, it's man.
So I don't know if you guys have thoughts on that Mariners game, but
yeah. I have. Okay, so I'll mention this before Tom. I hand it off to Tom here, but yeah, Adam. Looking at the 2025 offensive stats for the Mariners, Seattle ranked 29th in baseball in doubles, 29th in triples. So they don't get a lot of extra bases. They rely heavily on the home run ball, singles, and that's it. And that's something that you cannot have, especially in the playoffs. You need to. I mean, Seattle. You need to get guys on base and then have Cal Raleigh, hit those home runs. You can't go with those won't score home runs, solo shots. You can't have that, man. That's what concerns me about, the game 5 is
2 things tomorrow with that, Steve, is we can't allow AJ Hinch to set up his bullpen the way he wants to. We have to score first.
He has experience. In Houston. Like that's the thing where, the Mariners, they don't. They're their coaching staff, very young, very new coaching staff. They haven't been in this position before. It's like an NFL coach, Andy Reid versus Ben Johnson, right? It's like, which one would you rather have? Obviously, Andy Reid. So that's why we kind of look at it here. I look at it here. But yeah, man, I would lean toward the Tigers as much as that. I like it. I love the underdog story here for the Mariners to go to the ALCS, for the first time in 2001, right? For them to do that, but it's just Detroit. They were in the playoffs last year, man, and they were sneaky good. They were a World Series underdog pick last year for a lot of people. They thought the Tigers were gonna be like the Diamondbacks in 2023 to go to the World Series, and that didn't happen, of course, but. Detroit, I mean, this is a team that beat Cleveland. I know Cleveland didn't have a good roster this year. Cleveland was actually a surprise team that they honestly shouldn't have made the playoffs given where they were back in August. But Detroit, man, again, they have the best pitcher in baseball, arguably, in Tarek Skubal. Their bullpen they have some nasty arms in there, as we all know, as baseball fans. And they have, again, a bunch of younger players. Javi Baez, man, I mean, he's a mentor on that Tigers team. He's won a World Series ring with the Cubs. He's had a lot of experience in this role. And he was on a Cubs team that was kind of half veteran, half young team. So that's the advantage here. And Detroit, they're not afraid of anybody. I feel like the Mariners, they're not afraid of the Mariners. And that's just the fun thing about baseball. You never know. And especially in the playoffs, you're not really afraid of anybody. But, I think the Tigers have a slight edge here. Despite the Mariners being at home here, we'll see. Again, like Adam alluded to, we could be completely wrong. We'll be back here next week. We'll be like, didn't see that coming. I don't know. We'll see. But I don't know. Tom, what are your thoughts?
We need playoff Randy to show up, Tom. Yes. That's all I was going to say, too. If we're going to win tomorrow, he's got to show up.
He hasn't been the guy that the Mariners have hoped for since they traded for him.
Not in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, that is.
What do you got, Tom?
Overall, just I guess my real quick synopsis would be overall team pedigree. I give the Mariners the advantage, when you're talking about the talent and the roster as a whole. But big game non-tangibles, I go with, like you guys said, the Tigers, because if you want to, whoever you want managing a big game like that, it's AJ Hinch, no doubt. And of course, when you got your ace on the mound, who is arguably the best in baseball, and again, one thing I'll point out too, the Tigers lost game 2 when Scuba went 7 innings pitched and gave up only 2 earned runs. They still lost that game. So big game, the bright lights don't phase him. He'll bring it. I mean, even if he shows up with his not best stuff, he'll still find a way to navigate through the lineup. That's just how good he is. And so it's just going to come down. And I think also both managers are going to have their best bullpens lined up. So whoever scratches off or pushes across at least three runs wins the ball game. I think that's what it's going to take. I don't think 2 runs are going to be enough to get it done.
Yeah.
Go Mariners.
Go M's on Adam's side here. I mean, again, you look at some of the stats here. I'm looking at StatMuse. Some of the stats between the Tigers and the Mariners during the regular season are very similar. Like the Tigers, they didn't get a lot of doubles this year. They got a lot of triples, which is very interesting. But yeah, it's going to go down to the wire again. It's game 5, nothing better than that. And we'll see what happens here. But I think it's going to be Tigers and Blue Jays in the ALCS, which is going to be an awesome series either way. Whether it's Mariners, Blue Jays, or Blue Jays and Tigers, it's going to be awesome. But
I'll tell you what, sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to tell you, if the Mariners do advance, they get Brian Wu back, and that's huge.
Yes.
But
because he was your best pitcher this year.
He was absolutely our best pitcher. But if the Tigers advance, whoever has to play them, whether it's in the ALCS or the World Series, you have to see Tarek Skubal 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he can bum carry those guys to a World Series championship. I really think he could.
Yeah. And I will say this, though, it still, like, you look at Toronto, man. I mean, they just wiped the floor with the Yankees in was it game 2? Yeah, it's just ridiculous. They were up like 11-0 in the 4th inning. I mean, that's how good the Blue Jays are. And I just feel like the Blue Jays, they're kind of like, I mean, everybody was looking at the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Yankees, and the Blue Jays were, I feel like, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like the Blue Jays were just not being watched enough. And it's just like, that's how good they are. And now Yankees fans can, say how much, they're a really good team. I know, Adam, you have family that are Yankees fans, and it just, the Blue Jays, they're my pick to go to the World Series, and regardless of whether the Tigers or Mariners win, the Blue Jays are still, in my mind, the World Series favorite.
I just think it's people. I mean, they're the defending American League champion, so all eyes were mostly on them. Like, are the Yankees going to do it? And when they don't, and then they get eliminated, everybody goes, "Oh, I guess they just weren't who we thought they were." That's all it was.
Yeah, I feel for Rymack, but I'm happy that he was able to get some light in the playoffs this year. And same thing with Trevor, man. I mean, for Trevor Story to hit that home run in the wild card series, that was awesome. And that was his first home run, by the way, in the postseason since 2017, in a game that we will not mention on this podcast ever again. So, anyways, facepalm, exactly, Tom, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to watch. It's gonna be fun, but this is what postseason baseball is all about. But hey, it's gonna be fun. Go Mariners, I guess. Even though I'm not really rooting for anybody, go Mariners. We'll see what happens here. But it's gonna be a lot of fun. So given the news, this was very much. I didn't hear this until like yesterday after I got off of work. I saw a tweet on X or whatever you call it, a post on X, that Zach Rosenthal, a Rockies, Tom, who was he? I honestly do not know. It was higher up in the. Was he assistant president or whoever he was? But anyways, Zach Rosenthal spent, I think, 20 plus years in the Rockies organization. He is also stepping down, quote, stepping down. But even though I feel like it was more of like, hey, we're cleaning house here, or quote, cleaning house. I really do think that this is a great thing for Colorado. It's just, they need to get rid of just familiarity and just there's so much nepotism. We've talked about it before so many times. The Rockies, so far, I think they're doing the right thing, and they need to be doing this. They need to look at other organizations around baseball and realizing, hey guys, this is not working. We need to, I don't care. Like, I don't care about your resume. I don't care what college you went to. It hasn't worked. We need to get new ideas from outside the organization and from people that had not had previous experience with this organization. We want brand new ideas that want to bring our ideas to Colorado. And, it's just, we need to see that. And I think hopefully, again, this was kind of like the second major move that we've seen so far. And I think there might be some more changes on the horizon here. And I'm glad that the Rockies haven't found a GM yet, because I feel like we've seen in years past, like Bill Schmidt was hired as the general manager after his first full year, interim general manager, literally the day of the final season or the last game of the season or the day after. The Rockies are very prone to doing that. And I'm glad that they have been searching, or quote, quote, there have been some searching recently. And I want to see at least there should be hundreds of candidates. I don't want them to just single out 5 and say, okay, we found our next general manager or president of baseball operations. I'm glad that the Rockies are doing this search. However, there is somewhat of a deadline that you should have a president of baseball operations, and that should be by the winter meetings before that, because that's a big, big deal. And free agency, not only that, but you're talking, and the Rockies, they need to be willing to make trades this offseason and let go of some players that honestly some people might not want to see get traded. And I think that would be, it would hurt. But if the new GM or president of baseball operations says, hey, we could get really good, solid players here that could really push us forward by several years in the rebuild, do it. And I think with Zach Rosenthal out, and he had certainly he had a voice in the Rockies organization. And of course, Bill Schmidt, who was, in Colorado for a long time as well. He was hired by Dan O'Dowd when Dan O'Dowd was became the general manager here. The Rockies, again, they are very reluctant. Obviously, Dick Monfort hates change. He hates the idea of it. But I was thinking about today, I feel like Walker Monfort is really taking control of this team in some ways, not as a president of baseball operations, but as, I don't know, I feel like as an owner, kind of helping his dad out a little bit and saying, hey, Dad, let me take care of this. Let's get a president of baseball operations in here first. Let's get a GM, have him hire a GM, and then take care of the rest. So, but at the same time, though, again, we preached about it. It's Dick Monfort's still the owner here, and he does have the final say here. But I don't know, man. There's been a lot of Walker Monfort recently, and a lot of different reports and different news rather than Dick Monfort, which is very interesting. But at the same time, though, maybe Walker had a chat with his dad and saying, "Hey, Dad, let me deal with this." So I don't know. It's gonna be fun, but I don't know. Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you all the way on getting rid of familiarity within the organization, because we've seen it for so long, it just doesn't work, right? We need a new idea on how to win at Coors Field. The one thing that scares me about somebody coming in who's not really familiar with the Rockies is trading away these young, talented players in the farm system. So, the first name that comes to mind, and I'm not saying I want him traded, but if you're talking about guys that we don't want to see move, Brenton Doyle would probably be towards the top of that list. And it's like, okay, what are we going to get in return for something like that? Do we have faith in Cole Carrig, or is Cole Carrig going to get traded? Or is Zach Veen going to get traded? Or what is this going to look like? Because the next president of baseball operations, or GM, or whatever this is going to look like, is going to come into an advantageous situation from a young talent perspective. But I think making trades like a Brenton Doyle or something like that would make sense in the name of restocking this pitching staff, the starting pitching staff. So obviously we are all watching this with great interest to see who the Rockies are going to bring in here, how long this process is going to take, how many people they're going to talk to, and who actually is running it. If it's Walker Monfort, Steve, to your point, I feel like the Rockies are opening themselves up to change more than they ever have. And Dick Monfort's finally saying, you know what? I'm tired of losing to the Dodgers for real this time. I'm tired of not making the playoffs. I'm tired of fans hating me all the time. Maybe I should step away from the baseball operations and let other people take that stuff over. And if he can just do that, we don't need to sell. We don't need you to sell the team. We just need you to take a step back from things that are out of your league, Tom.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, sorry, I had the microphone on. So yeah, just to confirm the information, yeah, Zach Rosenthal, the longtime assistant, longtime employee of the Rockies, and yeah, Bill Schmitz is GM. He also chose to step down, meaning parting of the ways, you could say. So yeah, the Rockies are looking to overall the front. And let me just mention also one fan favorite, also elected free agency. Sam Hillier was outright to AAA sent, and he chose to elect a free agency on October 3rd. So again, I really like Sam.
Absolutely.
It'd be nice if he had a third stint. I'm using air quotes there because this was his second stint with the Rockies. But Sam, I wish you the best if you do not choose to return. So again, I'm still going to follow you on social media. I hope that you get you continue your pro baseball career. So we'll see how that goes. But again, Sam, if this is your last time with the Rockies, best of luck to you. But as Adam, you and I talked on the last episode, this, like I said, this needs to be a complete overhaul. And whoever is brought in, whether it's the president of baseball operations, which is what it sounded like, that person needs to be given full autonomy of the staff. He needs to choose who his GM is, who his assistant GM is. If he wants to make a change in the baseball analytics department, make it larger, change the guy who's the person who's in charge of it, any which in every way, shape, or form, because you need to basically almost tear this down, the front office down to the studs, and evaluate every single person. Because when you have 3 consecutive 100-loss seasons, including one where you flirted with the wrong side of history, you have to you basically, in my opinion, almost have to start over completely.
And before Adam jumps in, if he's going to jump back in here, but yeah, Zach Rosenthal, I'm looking at this now, vice president and assistant general manager of baseball operations. So he was very much kind of like next up to Bill Schmidt, basically second in command, if you want to say. Very large say in the organization. Again, we'll keep on saying this offseason before the Rockies make their pick, their selection for either president of baseball operations or GM. But like, this has to happen, man, because I feel like if this was, this should have happened, several years ago. Obviously, like, Rockies fans can, say whatever they want, but definitely after the first 100 last season, they should have done something with Bud Black and Bill Schmidt. And it just, something's not working. But for here now, obviously the Rockies are making moves, but they need to make more than like just these 2 moves. And of course, we've seen that so many times. But I am a little bit hopeful that they've already made 2 moves within the last couple of weeks. Like, these are not, ground shaking moves necessarily. I mean, Bill Schmidt definitely was, but Zach Rosenthal, not as big. Not a lot of people, knew about Zach Rosenthal here, but again, he had a significant voice, and that, but the thing is, that means more roles to be had. And again, we hope that the Rockies don't just hire one person and say, okay, you're going to have multiple. No, it's just, they need to have the Rockies, obviously, not only analytically, but in terms of front office, the Rockies are way behind. They're in the Stone Age. They need to hire a bunch of people. And I think that's obviously something that we've always already talked about many times before, but Adam, we talked about this so many times, but yeah, it's just got to find, brand new people that actually would love to come here. And I forget again, it might've been John Morosi or whoever that guy was. There's so many people that would absolutely, consider this as a dream job to come into Colorado and win a championship team here. I mean, it would be like the Billy Bean of like Moneyball. I mean, if GM were to ever come here, can you imagine how many other organizations around baseball, like the Athletics or a bad team? I mean, like the Pirates, for instance, they would be one of the richest GMs in sports or president. I mean, it's just, this is a prime opportunity. I think you look at, like, going to the NFL, the Washington Commanders, arguably one of the worst owners in the history of sports, of Dan Snyder. And now the Commanders, they got Jane Daniels, and of course they're having a little bit of a down year this year, but they completely turned that thing around within a matter of a year or two. And now NFL is different. It's different. You hire, you hire people, you draft players that usually come within like less than a year, right? I mean, within months. You're starting quarterback. He gets drafted. A few months later, he's starting week 1 in the NFL. Baseball, obviously, that's different, but the principle is very much the same. Like, you can turn things around very quickly if things go right, and if you have the right ownership and the right people invested in your ball club. And I feel like Walker Monfort, fingers crossed, hopefully he sees things have not been working. We need to tear the cover off the Band-Aid. We need to stop being the way who we've been for the last 30 years. And we need to, say stop. We need to put this to a stop. And Walker Mumford, again, Dick never got involved. Dick would never, even though Dick played baseball, I think when he was younger, Dick would never involved in baseball operations anyway. Like he was just a owner that just he owned businesses, where you see some owners that have had experience in baseball operations or have at least close to operations experience. And I think with Walker has experience in baseball operations. Again, for those who don't know, Walker Monfort was very much high up with the Grand Junction Rockies, who was a pioneer baseball team back in the day for the Rockies. As a matter of fact, Brenton Doyle, I think at one point was a Grand Junction Rocky. So that's what exactly the Rockies need. They just need to look at other teams as a blueprint and say, what are they getting that we're not doing correctly? And I think, and hopefully, I think we're starting to see that with Walker Monfort. And again, it's definitely a good thing to see for the Rockies, but they need to prove that, hey, we're done with this. We're moving on. We're heading into a new future of Rockies baseball, and we're committed to winning more than ever before. And of course, they've said that, but in the years past, it's been otherwise. But and it's because of Dick Monfort's been writing all those emails and everything. But it's a good thing to see that Walker Monfort is actually looking for people that want autonomy with this Rockies team.
Yeah, I think that the blueprint right now would be the Brewers.
Yes.
Because they're kind of in a mid-market where they could spend a lot of money if they really wanted to, and they have at times in their history. But this is a team that we looked at and saw them lose Corbin Burns, and just 2 years later, they're getting close to the NLCS. Last year, they were a really good team as well. This is an organization that loses players and then just replenishes, and the Rockies need to become something like that. But to your earlier point, Steven, about it being a dream job for GMs, you're talking about a win-win situation, in my opinion, because you come to Coors Field, nobody expects you to do anything, and it's hard to win here. So, if you don't win anything, I don't think it hurts your career necessarily. It's just like, okay, he tried. It's Coors Field. It's a beast. It's a hard job to do. But if you do, you're going to make yourself a lot of money. You're going to become a hot name to every single team in Major League Baseball because you have proven that you can win in the hardest place to play in all of Major League Baseball. So either you get a fat check from the Rockies to stay here, or you get to go somewhere else. And I think that is the way that other GMs are going to look at this job. And presidents of baseball operation are going to look at this job because it's a win-win in my opinion. You can't go wrong either way, unless the Rockies, continue to lose more than 100 games or something like that under your leadership. But I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm very excited about this. I'm excited for the guys that want to come here and change the way baseball's played in Colorado. And we should all be looking forward to this as long as the Rockies do it right.
Yeah. At least we're not the Pirates, and they're still having Ben Cherington he's a puppet for their owner, but Ben Cherington was a great GM in Boston. However, I will say that.
The difference between us and the Pirates is the Pirates just have a lot of they have the ability. They've been churning a lot of talent in the last decade or so. They just haven't been able to win with it.
Yeah. Plus, their offense surprisingly was actually the worse than the Rockies. That's how bad they were. Pitching side was great. I mean, they had potential. They had playoff pitching. They just didn't have any offense. I'm looking forward to it. Again, I think Adam and Tom, would you agree that the deadline for the Rockies to have a president of baseball operations or a new GM would be by the trade deadline?
It's trade. You mean trade deadline?
Not trade deadline. I meant winter meetings. Yeah.
Oh, I go no. You got to even before that.
Before that, like November.
I would say if you can, even before the World Series ends, because remember.
Free agency, that's right. Free agency starts.
No, because 9 a.m. after the final out of the World Series is made when free agency officially opens. So you want someone in it. I guarantee you, there's interviews are taking place as we speak. So you need to get someone in the chair. You need that decision maker in his or her chair as soon as possible. And the one thing I'll add to Adam's note about this, I'll also add, I think I mentioned this on a previous episode. We as fans have to understand that there is a strong chance there's going to be a lot of roster turnover this offseason because from top to bottom, star of the team, last guy on the bench, number one prospect to the guys who aren't even ranked. Everybody is going to be evaluated. Everybody, and I'm not trying to say anybody's move or tradable, but it is. I mean, we have to understand when you bring in a new voice or a new head of an organization like this that is just in shambles, all ideas, all proposals, everything's on the table. So, just even if your favorite player on the team or favorite prospect, he could be moved. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, but when you're trying to evaluate and bring this team out from the Stone Age, anything is possible.
I don't disagree with you, Tom. I feel like if a GM comes in here and deems that even Charlie Condon as a name doesn't fit the identity of what you're trying to do as a GM, or if he feels like Charlie Condon can get him a big name pitcher or something like that in the offseason, those names are going to be thrown around, and they should be. No disrespect to anybody, but we're trying to get better as an organization. And I think Rockies fans are going to have to come to terms with that, Tom. I think that's a great point. And we could name anybody. It could be Hunter Goodman. It could be Jordan Beck. It could be Zach Veen. It could be anybody, really, because the Rockies are trying to do this thing the right way.
As to your point, and to add to the point you made about the Brewers, they trade Corbin Burns, they win the division, and even though it was a first round exit, still made the playoffs. They got rid of Devin Williams. They're right now one win away from the NLCS. Again, it's the teams like that. If you have to be willing to make big bold moves if you want to be successful, and because sometimes that's all it takes, even if it means trading one of, if not the best player on your roster.
Hey, Bryce Harper needs to steal second base right here. There's no messing around. Like, steal second base, dude. Go.
Just use your legs, man. I mean, if you want to go to the World Series,
ball deep. Oh crap! Bohm was just short of it. Oh gosh.
Oh, you might be ahead of me. Sorry.
So, I'm sorry. Yeah, Bohm was about 5 feet short from putting one out.
Oh, I'm about to see it then.
Oh, sorry. You got. Sorry if you guys got the delay. I'm sorry. I'll show you.
I hit the weight room.
Oh, come on. But no, it's just but it is, I mean, honestly, we've got to be I'm not trying to be a downer. Let me be clear to Rockies fans about one thing. We should be excited about this because this represents significant change and away from the mom and pop mentality to more of more of a change of being understanding that change is necessary to be be
exactly, because it's just like, I feel like last couple of years it's just like the same old. It's like no changes whatsoever. Now we're starting to see changes, and it's like not only because we had our worst year in franchise history, but it's just like I feel like it would be one or several moves. And I think, again, for them to call it step down or resigning, it's more of like, hey, we need to make changes here and you're out. It's just not working. So that I agree with you, Tom and Adam. It's just like, it's welcoming, and I'm hopeful. And I think, again, I feel like the Rockies are now realizing people aren't showing up to our games anymore. Nobody's watching the game. I mean, again, I'm very curious to see. I don't know if I've been out yet, but I'm very curious to see what the ratings were for this year for the Rockies. Probably worse than last year, I would imagine. But I think, to your point, Adam, I think Dick Monfort, yes, he's tired of losing to the Dodgers, but I think he's also tired of seeing Dodger fans take over Coors Field.
We all are.
We all are. Not only just Dick Monfort. I mean, we talked about on this podcast, not only Dodgers, Cubs, Cardinals, Braves, for even
any
Mets.
team, dude.
The Mets are the worst. I've all the fans. Dodgers and Mets are my top two most hated fans to come to Coors Field, man. And it's bad. Ooh.
Yep. Yeah, I just saw it. Saw it.
Okay.
Tom's like, Tom has to be quiet because he's way ahead of us, I think.
Oh man! Again, if you're listening, again, we apologize, but we're hanging in there. We're watching Game 4 of the NLDS between the Phillies and the Dodgers here. But man,
we're doing what all Rockies fans are doing right now, and rooting for the Phillies.
Watch your TV and watch the podcast. Gotta love it. So anyways, it's gonna be interesting again. Like to your point, again, we might see we might see some change very, very soon, potentially the next few weeks. And that's very exciting for Rockies fans. But we just want to make sure that somebody that we maybe never heard of before, or maybe we have, but they're from like the Rays or whoever. But anyways, it's going to be something to watch. Are we ready for some player awards, guys? All right.
We are.
Let me pull this up here on the gram. Let me click share screen. Hopefully this doesn't fry everything.
Tom, if Bader would stop trying to pull those pitches, I know he's a dead pull hitter, but if he would just stop trying to pull those pitches, he would give the Phillies the lead.
Well, especially considering his Vesia, thank you. I almost said Vesel. Vesia, because Vesia is pitching him outside, just go the other way.
Just go the other way.
Just shorten your swing up a little bit and go the other way.
Oh, he did it right there. Sorry, Steve. It's all
I just saw this. Man, why am I getting nervous? I'm not like the Rockies again. I'm not cheering for anybody, but I am rooting for the Phillies here.
Well, because it's exciting. It's playoff baseball.
There's nothing better than playoff baseball,
and we hate the Dodgers. Let's
exactly.
Just be real
so I mean,
it.
I did lie. I guess if I am rooting for somebody, I am rooting for the Phillies this year, and I hate Philadelphia, and I don't like. The comments made by Bryce Harper a couple years ago about organization. But,
well, Bryce, I honestly,
he was not wrong.
Well, yeah, he's not wrong, but also it was also a heat of the moment kind of thing too. But to be honest, he's whether you agree or disagree with him, he speaks some truth.
So. He does, yeah. Anyways, let's get to our first award here. This was previously for the last few years. I called it the Heart and Hustle Award, even though there's actually a real name in baseball for it. I call it the Purple Hustle Award. This was not voted by our followers simply because it can go either way, but this is for the award for the player that led or either was in top 3 in 3 of these categories, and that was doubles, triples, and stolen bases. Jordan Beck, I believe, led the Rockies in stolen bases and was in the top 2 for both doubles and triples this year for the Rockies, then winning the Purple Hustle Award. And Jordan Beck, this was the only award that he won this year, and I think he definitely had a chance to being a comeback player of the year / most improved player. Jordan Beck had a solid season, guys. I mean, I don't feel like we're talking about that enough. I mean, he hit 260 this year. Again, Tom might be on the numbers here for me, but Jordan Beck had a solid year, guys.
Sorry. No,
you're good. Yeah.
I agree. I think we talked about some of my predictions were just atrocious this year, but I do remember saying that Jordan Beck could be a 2020 guy for the Rockies before the season started. He certainly has a lot of potential to be a little game changer for the Rockies. I think, to Tom's point earlier, this could be someone that may not be with the organization for those reasons moving forward. But I really like Jordan Beck. It was nice for him to finally be able to stay healthy, and I couldn't agree more with your decision on this, Steve.
Yeah. And again, I part of me wishes I had the fans, but again, this is kind of a award that you kind of have to analyze. And this was a award I actually made up when I first started doing Rockies now, and it was kind of a cool award. And it's just, again, like a guy that plays all out on the field and watching every pitch. Oh.
I'll talk this. I think I mentioned this on the last episode. Jordan Beck. He was second on our team in hits with 139 behind Hunter Goodman, and he also led the team in games played at 148 as well. So that's
pretty solid.
Correct.
Pretty solid. Yeah.
Even though his strikeouts at 174 is a little higher than we would like. Again, 27 doubles, 16 home runs is not bad considering the lackluster lineup that was around him and Hunter Goodman. When it comes, I could see him still being, again, anybody's on the table, but I could still see him being on the team next year. If so, he's going to be in left field on opening day.
Why did you swing at that Bader, man? That was in the other batter's box. But anyways, that Jordan Beck wins that award, everybody. And not to mention, don't forget Jordan Beck's 3 home run game, right? I mean, like that was just fantastic, especially right when the Rockies were in that long losing streak. And
was that the Royals, right?
No, he had 2 homers in that game. I think it was the Padres. If anybody in the comments knows, I think it was the Padres.
It might have been the Padres. Let me.
It was. I think it was the Padres at home or the Nationals. It might have been. It was either Padres or Nationals, I feel like. But
He hit 2 in Kansas in one
Yeah,
game in Kansas City,
City,
right?
yeah, yeah. He had 2 games, and it was a doubleheader game too. And then he hit the game. Okay, so there was 2 games that day. He hit 1 home run in game 1. Then he hit
That's
2 in
right.
game 2.
That's
So
right.
yeah. And then the next homestand, the Rockies come back. That's when he hit the 3 home runs. And it was either the Padres or the Nationals, I think.
It was he had a 2 home run game in May on the 17th, and then on August 2nd he had the 3 home run game. Let me check who.
Oh, August 2nd. That was more recent. Okay.
Yeah, it was August 2nd. Let me see who it was against. I'm trying to see here.
I think it was at the Padres.
It was the Pirates, actually.
Ooh, the Pirates?
Was that the comeback game?
I think it was. Yeah, Skeens was on the mound.
My gosh.
Oh,
that's crazy.
I
thought it was a little bit more farther back, but it was more recent.
I thought he only hit 1 home run that day against Skeens.
Oh wait, no. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm looking at the wrong. He had a 3-run homer against Skeens in that game.
Oh, 3-run home run. Okay. Got
it. First pitch, right center field.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah. Wait, you were at that game, weren't you?
Yeah, my buddy called it. He goes,
that's
first
right.
pitch,
Yeah,
Beck's going to take it to right center field. And I was like, dude, what just happened?
Dude, I remember, I think we texted. You were like, man, I couldn't go to the day before because the day before, that's when the Rockies had that comeback. And, oh, gosh. But, yeah. The 3 home run game for Jordan Beck, I think that was against the Padres. I'm pretty sure it was like in May or April or whenever that was, or it might have been June. I think I was away. I think I was on vacation during that time. But anyways, Jordan Beck, solid year for him. Shout out for Jordan Beck, and we'll see if he stays around this offseason. I'm anticipating for him to come back, but should there be a lot of changes, which we're hoping for, the Rockies might maybe be making some trades here, and Jordan Beck could be out the door. But again, great job, Jordan Beck, for winning the Purple Hustle Award here.
It was
our next.
Sorry,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. It was in Kansas City.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it was. I just confirmed. It was a game in Kansas City. The Rockies won 7-4.
Yeah, that was. They won. Oh, that's right. They won that game. Shoot.
Yeah, sorry. So confirmed. That was the game it was. So
okay.
I just want to make sure we get that on record being right about that one.
All right.
So sorry. So there we. I just want to make sure it was out there. So we're good. Yeah.
You're good. Ooh. Oh, reaction. Okay. Anyways, let's move to our next award here. Again, we're watching here where there's some. Oh man, this is gonna be interesting to watch here. The 11th inning.
That was a good fastball to Freeman.
It was. Gold Glove, obviously, clearly, despite a really down year defensively for Doyle, he had a down year considering defense, but still had a solid year in the outfield. Probably won't win it just because of PCA this year for the Cubs. But Brendan Doyle, obviously, a clear favorite to win our Gold Glove Player of the Year. Guys, I don't see him winning a Gold Glove, unfortunately, this year, but he'll definitely be a finalist, no question about it. Tom, what do you think?
He'll be a finalist for sure. There's no question about that.
But
as far as that goes, I mean, it's just given the fact that hold on, let me double check how many. I should double check one thing. Given the fact that Doyle missed several games, he played 138 games this year, so he will be a finalist, but I don't know how his defensive metrics compare to PCA. I have to look. I apologize.
I think I want to say Doyle had a negative UZR. I think a little bit like -2 or whatever it was.
He will be a finalist for sure. That's one thing we can guarantee.
I do want to say, and we talked about this last time, Tom, for Brenton to go through what he went through this year and to come back and play at all is super impressive. So yeah, he had a little bit of a down year. I think he had a couple injuries as well. He was away from the team for family reasons that we don't need to go into, obviously. But for him to go through all that stuff and come back and play baseball, and there was a point, I believe Thomas Harding wrote something at the beginning of August, I think it was, and Brenton Doyle was literally the best hitter for a span of like 2 weeks or something like that, 3 weeks in all of baseball. So he really did turn it around, and I really love Brenton Doyle, and I wish that I hope that he can stay with us for a long time. But if he doesn't and he's not part of the plan, I will still wish him the best wherever he ends up playing.
Yeah. And again, it was awesome to see for him to have that walk-off home run to win that game against the Pirates. Like that really, I feel like, lifted a burden off his shoulders from what he had experienced earlier that year. And it was so fulfilling to see that and for him to be a part of that. I mean, arguably probably even better than the game years like in 2008 when the Rockies beat the Marlins in that wild score on July 4th, when we won like 18-17 and we were down like that. I think that the Rockies were closer in that game than they were in this game. I mean, it was just insane, and for Doyle to be a part of it, to hit a walk-off home run, to cap it all off is just special, man.
I think the deficits were equal. They were down 9-0 against the Pirates.
Yeah, 9-0.
They were down 13-4 against the Marlins.
Oh, in 2008. Okay, yeah. So it just still you still have to love what Doyle still went out and played, and such a bad year in the worst year of the franchise for him to still go out and play for not only Doyle but every Rockies player, man. It just got to give credit to where it's doing it. It's not the player's fault. It's more than that. But
and the way the players carried themselves too, nobody felt sorry for themselves. Nobody showed up not ready to work. Like these guys put in the work.
162
they
games.
They weren't the most talented team out there, but you never saw these guys give up ever.
Yeah, and then actually Doyle was the last at bat this year for us, and I watched the last at bat. He was a good grinding at bat against a good reliever for the Giants. I forget his name, but I mean Doyle. He of course he struck out, but it went to a 3-2 count, and it was trying to get a walk on base, and this was a game 162 where the Rockies had 118 losses. And he's still having a good at bat. That's what's all about, and that's what we appreciate Brenton Doyle so much for. So, shout out to Brenton Doyle, and he wins our Gold Glove of the year here.
Total pro.
Absolutely. Next one, obviously no big shocker here. Relief pitcher of the year goes to Jimmy Herget. Guys, this guy had a sub-3 ERA in such a bad year for the Rockies. How good was Jimmy Herget? Let me pull up his stats here. Very quickly. So yeah, this year 2.48 ERA, 81 strikeouts, and a WHIP of 1.18. And this guy was let go by a couple organizations, guys, last year, by the Angels. The Braves let him go. He did not have a good year whatsoever last year. The Rockies gave him a chance, and I thought this guy was probably going to be gone by the deadline, or maybe even before that. I was like, yeah, this just screams like a dump contract, and it's just like the Rockies are probably going to get rid of him. But he turns out to be the Rockies' best reliever, and this is a guy the Rockies need to be looking at to drafting other players. Sidearm, like we've seen a lot of sidearm guys in Colorado do well. Brian Fuentes, good sidearm. Pat Neshek, despite that one game in 2017. Guys like that, they have success at Coors Field. Not only the sidearm, but their sequence. And I think Herget has a sinker, correct? Pretty sure he has a sinker. Yes. And so this is a guy that the Rockies definitely need to get more of. Okay.
You can breathe. It's okay.
It's the guy. Okay, that got scared. Will Smith got me scared there for a little bit. But yeah, man, it was awesome to see Jimmy Herget, and no question he's going to be back next year. And I don't know, maybe the Rockies will give him an extension. Again, we'll wait and see. We're going to have to wait until you see, because the Rockies won't be getting the extension until we get a new GM/baseball operations guy.
He's arbitration eligible, so he should still be with the Rockies next year.
Yeah.
But I do want to say, Steve, to your point with the sidearmers at Coors Field, shout out Steve Reed, and shout out Javier Lopez as well.
Okay, we're good. We're still good. We're still alive.
Tommy Edman is such a pain in the butt, dude. Yeah, he really is.
Well,
Max Muncy's having a great postseason too.
Yeah, well, that's even as this roster ages, they still find ways to get in clutch situations.
That was not a good pitch whatsoever.
They're the Dodgers, man. Like if they win this series, there's no way that they're not going to the World Series.
Yeah. But I do know who would beat them, though. This the Blue Jays. There's just
Blue Jays could definitely beat them.
100%. Vladdy in LA hitting bombs over the concourse, dude. I'd live for that. But yeah, man. I mean, Max Muncy's having a heck of a postseason, man. I mean, it's just they're pinch running it. Oh no, okay. They're going to commercial break.
Yeah, they're going to Kirkering.
Okay. Anyways, yeah.
Just for Herget also. His he has a 5-pitch mix, but the three main ones that he uses are his curveball, his slider, and his sinker, which would be, I think, an advantageous main three arsenal for him to use. It's interesting about him. This season, he only uses 4-seam fastball 7% of the time on the pitches that he threw, which is not a bad thing because, again, it minimizes the damage that if you leave a fastball up to a solid hitter at Coors Field, it can get driven out of the ball over into the seats. But another thing to point out about Jimmy Herget, not only to the stats you point out, Steven, but he was second on the team in WAR this year with 3.0 behind Hunter Goodman, who led the team with 3.7. So, but also my thing on him, and this is 2026. This will be his first year of arbitration, so he has 3 more years of arbitration before he becomes a free agent. When I look at him, I think somebody pointed this out, asked this on our page. I don't see him being a closer. I see him being a solid 7th or 8th inning option. Or if your closer's unavailable, he could cover the 9th inning for you. But I see him being an excellent option for the 7th or 8th inning. I think is his ceiling. I think maybe label it as a ceiling. I
want to say the Angels tried to have him close last year, which did not pan out very well.
I think he was a starter for the Angels at one point.
Oh, you're right. I was thinking of somebody else. No, they had Kenley Jansen. That's right.
But I feel like Jimmy Herget, should the Rockies get into the playoffs with him on the roster, he's that guy that you could throw out there for 2 or 3 innings like these other teams are doing with some of their guys.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is a perfect example of who the Rockies, like I said, should look to draft, to sign in free agency. Looking at highlights here, Ian Happ just hit a home run in Chicago.
Nope, don't like that.
Ooh. Well, looks like that. I mean, again, it's only in the first inning. I mean, it's still early, but we're going to go probably to a game 5 in Milwaukee.
You're talking about if the Cubs end up playing the Dodgers. Yikes!
Ooh, that's a fun series.
I will root for nobody in that series.
Well, I think Tom, same thing. I don't think Tom would be really rooting for anybody in that series here.
He's out.
He's out.
I'm rooting for whoever wins the American League.
Or just an asteroid to strike either both stadiums.
So I know Tom probably knows the answer by now, but is our boy Orion Kerkering going to be able to get us out of this inning?
Oh, boy. Had a really good year, regular season, but the question is, has he had a good postseason? I mean,
and he's going up against playoff Kike. So...
Ooh. And by the way, guys, again, this is I don't think we've really mentioned this much on the podcast, but next year we're going to have the ABS system. Because there was that controversial call. I mean, it was a bad call, but you can see why they called it a strike in Game 3 of the Padres and Cubs series, wildcard series. But this is the very last time that we're going to have no ABS.
There's even some more egregious calls. I mean, umpire auto.
Which is a great this year, man. This year I've never seen so many bad calls this year in my entire life.
No, but what I was saying is like umpire auto released their top 10 most. Top 10 pitches that were furthest out of the strike zone. There were some that were just egregious, and one of them, of course, one of them wasn't one of the Padres Cubs game, but that call had an impact. Whether you want to say it had an impact, it had an impact.
They would have loaded the bases with one out if they would have gotten that call. But I think what I'm interested in, Steve and Tom, next year is when do you use it? Because if you use it too early,
yep.
Are you going to use it in a scoreless game in the playoffs in the 4th inning and then not be able to use it later? Like I'm really interested in is Kike hurt?
Yeah, the trainer was coming out. Yeah, it's swing follow through.
He just took a ball off it.
Well, I don't want to see anybody get hurt, obviously.
But it's so weird. So we're getting off topic here, but like the cap that he uses when he pitches is so weird looking. You know that what I'm talking about, like with the batting helmet, that I don't know. It just, you guys have noted, Kike Hernandez, when he's pitched this year, Tom, I know what I'm talking about. He wears that weird hat. You know what I'm talking about?
When
Kike pitches, right? Whenever there's been a blowout,
I think it has to do with pitch com.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But anyways,
who's on deck? Pages?
Pages, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, he just came up.
Get him! Nope.
Oh, bases loaded. Okay.
I mean, it's really
anybody base, but yeah.
Don't worry, guys. A ground ball.
Good at bat. But yeah, Pages, man. Though Pages is,
he's a fly ball hitter, if I remember correctly, Tom.
Mm-hmm. A ground ball ends the inning, though.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, so Jimmy Herget, really pitcher of the year, and he should be back with the Rockies next year. Looking forward to seeing him in action, and definitely an anchor in the bullpen for a young Rocky squad. And, we have a few names. I mean, again, Juan Mejia was in the conversation here. I know he was a very good favorite for that. Victor Vodnik, who won the award last year for our page, he had a great solid year. He was also on the list here. I think he was runner up behind Jimmy Herget, but clearly Jimmy Herget deserves this, and he wins the award this year.
The bullpen is the strength heading into 2026, Steve, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh, and it was supposed to be this year too. And the rotation officer, we knew that was the biggest question mark. But yeah, I think bullpen this year, was actually quite many times one of the best in baseball, surprisingly. It's just the offense and the starting pitching would just like not show up whatsoever. But yeah. So yeah, Jimmy Herget gets that award there. Most improved player goes to no big surprise here, Hunter Goodman. I think Mickey Moniak came in second according to the voting, and then he went. And then I think the other person was Jordan Beck. But yeah, Hunter Goodman clearly deserves this award. 30+ home run year, all-star. One of the best catchers in baseball, and are definitely one of the best catchers in the National League. At one point, the best catcher in the National League. So it's Ooh, oh no.
Yep.
Oh god.
Oh boy.
This next
seriously, man.
For those who are watching live, you probably have already seen it, but yep.
What in the world, man?
Oh, why? Why?
Why make that throw, dude? Throw to first base.
Oh boy, gotta take the out to first.
What was that, man? Kirkering, I
tried to go home.
He should have gone for first base.
Go
for you always. It's just the guy has advantage at third base always. So, but hey, that's it for the Phillies, man.
But the Avs just scored, so that's good.
Hey, let's turn on the Avs game now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that right now. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah.
I get it. I get why he panicked like that, but you have to have presence of mind. Yeah, you gotta know where to go with the ball.
It's just that it's an instinct thing. He's looking at home. He's facing home plate, but you have to.
Instinct. It happens, but he should have gone first base. But I get it. I feel bad for Kirkering, man. I mean, you can see the emotion. I feel for him, but
go Brewers.
Yep. We're 3-0 right now still, folks. If you're wondering if you're watching or listening, it's 3-0. We're going to the second inning, I think. So
it's in the bottom of the second right now. Yep.
Oh, second. Okay, my mistake. But yeah, going back to Hunter Goodman here. Great season. Of course, of course, we already know who's going to win MVP, so we'll finish off with Hunter Goodman there. But yeah, Hunter Goodman, most improved player of the year. And then a rookie of the year. This was, I think, a great vote for our followers here. They knew what they were talking about. Warming Bernabel wins rookie of the year for the Rockies. And there was, definitely later on in the year, there was a plethora of rookie call-ups. There was only a couple, one or two. Early in the season, Zach Veen was one of them, but Zach Veen, unfortunately, was hated by Bob Black and did not play for more than a couple weeks with the Rockies. But Warming Bernabel, man, this guy, first week in the big leagues, was named rookie of the week, and National Player of the Week as well. And was able to have that hot start on the road, and then came back to Coors Field. Had that really good series against the Pirates, and the Blue Jays as well, despite getting swept in that series. But yeah, Warming Bernabel, man, this is a guy that I think we had conversations when he first came up, and that he's going to be a question mark. And something to watch in spring training, guys, is he going to be a third base guy? He's going to play first base. And now with Michael Toglia probably now in question, be on the team moving forward here, is Warming Bernabel the new first baseman for the Rockies here. The guy, he had a couple struggles here and there, but Warming Bernabel, man, he knows how to swing the bat. His bat path looks amazing. I mean, some of the numbers were incredible off the bat. I think one of his hits in the Pirates game was like 115 off the bat. It was insane. It was like down the left field line. But this guy knows how to play ball, and this is a guy that honestly has been in the minor leagues for a number of years, and he just hasn't been able to get that call up until this year. And it was a perfect opportunity, guys. And Warming Bernabel took advantage of it, and he wins our Rookie of the Year award. So, Adam, no big surprise here for you?
No, and I do have to own the fact that when he got called up, I just thought of him as an afterthought. I was like, yeah, he's just
Yeah.
a guy that we're calling. He's just a
Colton
body.
remember Colton Welker? Just like, just a random.
Yeah, but this guy was
Dude.
absolutely outstanding. He caused the Cleveland Guardians announcer to crash out during a game. So I mean, he was good, and I think moving into the future, it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to play first or third, if Karros is going to play third, because I know the Rockies right now, as it stands, they want Condon to play first base.
Yeah,
so I think next year you're looking at a Bernabel Karros battle, maybe at third base type of situation. Who knows if Holiday comes into play at the end of the year in that situation as well. Because the Rockies, I think they're going to have him play third base. Tom, correct me if I'm wrong. Ethan Holiday, or do they view him as a shortstop?
I don't think it's really been announced just yet, and we're gonna have to wait. I have to check how many games he played each position. I think at this point he's still a shortstop. I think we'll have more clarity after the end of the
during the draft. There was talk about like the Rockies may consider having Holiday do like what Matt did, because Matt, I think, was drafted as third baseman as well, and then they moved Matt to left field. So Ethan could be just like his dad. The Rockies might be like, hey, deja vu, we're gonna have Ethan playing left field. But the Rockies guys, they might have they have a bunch of left fielders, and I feel like they're gonna land on one of these outfielders to play left field. So where's Ethan Holiday gonna play? I feel like he's gonna be maybe shortstop if the Rockies decide move on with Tovar. But Tovar, again, he's signed to that 8-year deal, and he still has
not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere. So it's got to be either third base. I don't think second base, because I feel like that's Rock Reggio, our guy. Shout out to Rock. And again, that was a complete steal. I mean, we got rid of Jake Bird for Rock Reggio and a pitcher in that trade. So, but yeah, I think Ethan's definitely either third base or left field.
So Warming Bernabel, going back to your point, Steve, he's going to play a huge role in deciding where other guys play. And if he can produce the way he did this past season for an entire season, I mean, the Rockies are going to have quite a season from Warming Bernabel. There's going to be a lot of production there.
Yeah, this year, 252, 4 home runs, 14 RBIs, 35 hits in total here. And he only played 40 games here. And again, 35 hits in those 40 games, phenomenal, especially for a guy on the team like the Rockies. And he didn't strike out that much, only 25 strikeouts in 139 at-bats, especially for a rookie. That's not too bad. We've definitely seen worse. And we're not going to mention Michael Toglia here. We feel bad for him, but Warming Bernabel, man, I think this guy definitely is on your radar if you're a Rockies fan or Rockies in general. This is a guy that has power, which we didn't realize he had. And he has speed too. He can run. And that's one thing I was kind of surprised too, Adam and Tom, is that this guy has some speed. And his defense, remember his defensive play in one of the, I think it was either the Pirates game or the Padres series, or it might have been against the Diamondbacks when Juan Mejia made that incredible play in the infield. But yeah, Warming Bernabel, he can do it all, man. And I think that's one thing that I'm super excited to see next year.
The only thing we'll have to watch on that, Steve, because he already had the one concussion this year, is hopefully that's the only one. Because nowadays, when people get multiple concussions, they start retiring because they got to protect their health,
Tua.
So,
that's a different discussion. But yeah, Warming Bernabel, man, such a great year and such a great guy. I mean, like for him to go through the minor leagues again, this is a guy like we talked about. Like again, we really didn't see a whole lot in this guy. I mean, I have a baseball card from him, but it was more of like just a shoe-in type of player. We'll let him get at bats. But this guy's, again, surprised a lot of people, and it was awesome to see, and for him to contribute in such a big way for this Rockies, and arguably was their best player for a majority part of the last part of the season, was just fantastic, despite that concussion. But man, that was awesome. So,
and the dude is unfazed in any situation.
100%.
Like he came up with some big situations offensively, and you could just see in his face that he's just so collected.
Relax. Relax. He could care less. I mean, he doesn't have pressure. And one of the words I think Spilla used in the first week, he was like, he's felt like he's been a big leaguer for several years. Like he's already a veteran. And that's one thing the Rockies have talked about, Warming Bernabel, which is awesome. And I think that goes a long way, rather than a guy that's, brand new to the big leagues, doesn't like, Zach Veen, again, we love Zach Veen, but we heard a lot of stuff that like he had trouble with the first few days in the Rockies clubhouse. He didn't know where things were. That happens as a rookie. Warming Bernabel, he just was like, yeah, I know what to do. This is just, this is how I go things. And he had his routine, man. And that's the way he just played himself. And the guy is already playing like a veteran. And that's who you want. And a guy, especially if you're the Rockies. And so such a great guy, and we love Warming Bernabel over here. So nothing but the best for him. So great year, Warming, and awesome. Shout out to our followers for having him being our Rookie of the Year. And I think they made a great decision, obviously, in having him become the Rookie of the Year this year for the Rockies. Alrighty, moving quickly here. We don't need to discuss much, but Kyle Freeland, man. I mean, he had an ERA under 5, not by much. He had a really tough year and a lot of bad games, but shout out to him having that great start against the Padres at Coors Field, arguably one of his best starts in his career, and definitely one of his best starts since 2018. But shout out to Kyle Freeland winning the Cy Young for the Rockies this year. There wasn't really a whole lot of players on this list that were in consideration. Tanner Gordon, though, I mean, despite his 6 whatever ERA, Tanner Gordon was a sneaky guy that I thought about. He was arguably one of the better pitchers at the tail end of the season for the Rockies here. But I think you guys would probably agree with me with Kyle Freeland here for winning Cy Young. Again, our followers, I think they would agree too that Kyle Freeland was probably our quote best starting pitcher this year.
Well, Tom, let's not forget that his ERA was above 7.
Yeah, at one point.
One point this year. So for him to get it under 5, I think it was now.
Yeah, let me pull it up here.
To end the year is pretty impressive.
It's 4.98.
Yeah, so yeah. I mean, that's a huge turnaround for a guy who just looked like something was not correct with him this year, like his health or something going on. But yeah, for him to do that, Steve and Tom, I don't disagree with the pick. Obviously, we don't need to beat the dead horse here. The Rockies starting pitching needs to be improved. But there were some bright spots, like McCade Brown's start in Seattle was just absolutely outstanding, especially given the circumstances of that game. So, I mean, the Rockies, they have some things there, but we'll look to improve that in the offseason, obviously.
Yeah, I just looked at this up. So Kyle Freeland in the month of September had a 3.85 ERA. That's something you love to see. It finish strong, especially in such a bad year. This is what really goes far. And again, we thought this guy Kyle Freeland was going to be out of here by the trade deadline, and of course the Rockies did not move him. But I still expect that. I will say this: we could see him back, given the fact that Marquez, I think he's gone. There's no question. I think Marquez wants to test the free agent market here, and I think if the Rockies are going to keep a guy around, it's going to be Kyle Freeland, and I wouldn't be upset about that. You do need a guy that has had who's been in Colorado for a long time and has had success, and arguably has been your best pitcher in the last few years, given the 300 lost seasons. I think I'd be fine with keeping Kyle Freeland, but Marquez, he's out. Obviously, unfortunately, the Rockies are keeping Senzatella, but they're going to be putting him in the bullpen. Of course, we already know Austin Gomber is gone from the organization. I think he's with the Cubs, I think.
Yes.
So Kyle Freeland, heck of a guy. Feel for him, and I gotta love that he reps the Broncos. The Rockies posted this a week or two ago when they went to the Bengals game on Monday night. Kyle Freeland, Hunter Goodman, and I think Chase Dollander were at the Broncos game, and you got to love Kyle Freeland. Reps his city strong, and he's still around. I mean, you just got to love Kyle, man. He's through and through a Rocky, and again, if he were to get traded, this year or this offseason or next year or whenever, he's always going to be remembered as a Rockies great pitcher, despite his numbers in the last few years. He'll definitely be a Rockies at heart for sure.
I led the team in starts this year with 31 innings pitched at 162.2. Yeah. So, and also it's worth noting he is under contract through the end of next season, and he has a vesting option for 27. So, given how the rotation stands at this point, I don't see a reason why he won't be back with the team next year. He could be a trade, depending how he pitches in the first pre-All-Star break. He could be a trade candidate, but we'll just have to wait and see. I do see him maybe most likely being the open day starter in 2026.
Absolutely. So that wraps up the Cy Young Award conversation and the award voting for Kyle Freeland. And then obviously our last award here, again, no big surprise here. Hunter Goodman wins unanimously MVP of this Rockies team. But guys, 278 average, 31 home runs, 91 RBIs, and 150 hits. And I mean, all-star. And you do like to see how the Rockies have had 2 all-star catchers in the last 3 years. Elias Diaz in 2023, and then Hunter Goodman here in 2025. And this, you're hoping that this wasn't a fluke year for Hunter, but he's still young. I mean, we saw flashes of it last year where Hunter had great games. And, for this year, Hunter was just incredibly special. And there was a lot of games to where he had multiple home run games, despite we were being blown out of the water in a lot of those games. Hunter still played, man. And I think he still has plenty of room to grow, guys. And I think he's just going to get better and better and better. And I think he's definitely should be a guy the Rockies build around. And obviously we already know he's going to be our starting catcher next year. No question, but you do gotta love the way Hunter played this year, played out his heart out on the field. I think Jacob Stallings was a great mentor for him. And Jacob Stallings, that's what he's been. And Jacob Stallings went to, I think, the Orioles and all that this year to be a mentor over there in Baltimore. But I think Hunter is just getting started here. And I think I'm super excited for next year. But again, I'm kind of worried about a fallback year for him in 2026, but still got to give credit to Hunter, man, for being by far one of the best baseball players this year in the National League West and the National League in general in baseball. So shout out to Hunter, man. So Tom, it's your mic. What are your thoughts on Hunter Goodman this year?
Well, I mean, as you pointed out, it's nice to have a solid backstop that we could build around. And I think I made this point on the last episode. He was second on the team in games played at, I believe, I have to go back and check it. I think it was 144 is what I said. Yeah, 144 games, and that's for a catcher. Now, he didn't catch all those games, but still. What more can I say about him? I think you guys correct me if I'm wrong. I think Adam, one of us mentioned this in the last episode. We were talking our pre-season episode where he was going to even be playing. I think we had him as being the emergency outfielder, I think. And lo and behold, Jacob Stallings we DFA'd him. And then Drew Romo was kind of in flux. So Hunter Goodman grabbed the bull by the horns and took it.
Mm-hmm. I think one of the things that I'm most impressed with when it comes to Hunter Goodman, as a baseball player myself with a giant leg kick, is how hard it is to time up a leg kick like that on a consistent basis. You see a lot of hitters that have a big leg kick. You end up moving your head a lot. It's really hard to time up, especially at the major league level. I can't even imagine that consistently throughout a whole entire season. So that was the thing that I always enjoyed watching Hunter Goodman, and I took some things from him, or I tried to this year. I didn't really have that great of a year myself, but Hunter Goodman was a super impressive hitter to watch, and he really, really improved on his ability to hit breaking balls. He had really good at-bats where he would work the count, and he would spit on some sliders, because I think early in the season especially, you would see teams trying to attack him with sliders low and away, especially with 2 strikes. And then he would lure pitchers back into the strike zone by not swinging at those pitches. So something that was super impressive to me was Hunter Goodman not ever going on any sort of cold streak this year with the leg kick and the preparation that he has when it comes to hitting. That was something that was super noticeable to me.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just like, and then the All-Star game, I could care less about what the comments say. Oh, well, he threw that ball. And it's like, dude, like this guy was a rookie like a year before prior. I mean, this guy, he's one of the fast growing, and not to mention it didn't even affect the All-Star game. But yeah, man, I mean, I'm trying to pull up some of his numbers here in September. I mean, again, like to your point, Adam, I mean, he didn't really have any cold streaks that you can really think of that comes to mind. Like, I'm pulling up his September stats here. In 21 games played in September, 82 at bats. He still was doing. I mean, you would think that this is the time of year where a lot of players start cooling off. He still hit 250. I mean, again, it's colder than what he was this year, but again, his average this year was 274 or whatever it was. So, slightly dipped below that, but he had 20 hits, 30 runs, 5 home runs in the month, and 15 RBIs in 21 games. That's great, especially at the end of the season. Hunter Goodman just did not stop. And again, he had multiple home run games this year. Definitely more than 3 or 4, I think, maybe even 5. I don't know. But the dude just kept on playing and played his heart out. And It just you gotta love it. And the thing I love about the Rockies so much this year, despite such a bad year, is that like again we've talked about Brenton Doyle, but here with Hunter Goodman, he didn't quit, he didn't give up. He was still there. He was catching a lot of those games, especially since Jacob Stallings' departure. He was catching almost every single game every night, and to do that, it's so incredibly difficult. And a lot of college catchers and high school catchers, if you're watching this, you already know it's already difficult just to do 3 or 4 starts in 1 week, or whatever, a travel ball team. For him to do it every single day, and you're the worst team in baseball, you got to have like guts, man. And he has the guts, man. It's just I'm so happy for Hunter and for him to have the opportunity to be an all-star, go to Atlanta. And it's been incredible to see his journey and his path forward, because he was a young rookie in 2023, just coming up in August. And as we have our stats here brought to you by our co-host Tom here, he had 97 starts this year at catcher, and I think Elias Diaz has had I think roughly around 100 in 2023. But here's the thing too, like a lot of those starts were from Hunter Goodman later in the season after Jacob Stallings, because Jacob Stallings was our primary catcher a big chunk for the first few months of the year. So for Hunter Goodman to come in that role, I mean, it's just incredible. And so this is a guy that you want. I think the Rockies have a gem here in Hunter Goodman. I don't think he's going anywhere soon. And obviously with Drew Romo, we're still waiting to see what happens. Drew Romo obviously did not have a year that he wanted in Albuquerque, and that's the reason why he barely played this year, if at all. But yeah, dude, like Hunter Goodman, he's the guy the Rockies have wanted for a very long time at catcher.
Yep, absolutely. Hats off to Hunter, and also happy 9-year anniversary to Hunter and his, I think, wife. They posted something yesterday on social media about that. So
yeah, 100%. And I would not be surprised. Tom, I don't know about you or Adam. Like this guy could be Hunter Goodman again, barring any injury or any fall off here. I think Hunter Goodman is definitely in the conversation of definitely being a team captain, for the Rockies, if you want to call it that, or maybe even an all-star next year. But again, there's still a lot of other guys that had down years this year in the National League at the catcher position. But still, it doesn't ignore the fact. I mean, people say, well, the reason why you went to the All-Star games is because you need to have one representative. There was several candidates that Jimmy Herget was the guy that could have gone to the All-Star game for the Rockies. I mean, Jake Bird, he could have been a candidate, but Hunter Goodman, that's how good he was. And
those people don't know baseball, and we don't need to pay them any mind.
And well, they don't watch the Rockies. They say they do, but they really don't. And so yeah, Hunter completely deserved here, and so I'm super excited to see what he does. So very happy for him and his family to do that. And by the way, like his wife follows us on social media, which is awesome, and to be able to see him grow as a player is just been fantastic. So nothing but love to him and his family. Guys, I think that's going to wrap it up. If you have any questions, shoot them up before we head out of here. But we do have 1 or 2 questions I would like to get to here very quickly before we head out of here in the next minute or so. This one's from Matthew. Do you see Zach Veen getting more action next season? I do. I think next year, especially if we see a new GM and a new president of baseball operations, he's going to have there's, like you guys said, there could be a lot of roster turnovers this offseason. And I think we might be seeing a lot more opportunities. But again, it all depends on what Zach does in spring training. If he has a solid spring training, we could see him as early as opening day, but it's going to be difficult because there's been some guys that had really good campaigns at the end of the year. Yankees Fernandez is a guy I still would like to keep an eye on. Has tremendous bat skills, despite, his defense obviously is not that great. But there's going to be opportunities. That's going to be something that we'll have to watch in spring training. So, Tom, Adam, what do you think about Zach Veen? Will we see more action from him next year?
My answer is going to be simple. It's going to depend on who we bring in. He may or may not be part of the future. We don't know.
Yeah.
To concur with Adam, I'll phrase it a little differently. It's all going to depend on what the head of baseball operations evaluation ends up being.
Yep. Yeah. Looks like that is it. But yeah, folks, thanks for coming on in. And it's just we appreciate you guys, even despite the longevity of it. But we appreciate you. We love you guys. And yeah, we're hoping that somebody beats the Dodgers, like Mariners, Blue Jays. Somebody beat the Dodgers. That's really all we want. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming on in and listening to this edition of the Rockies Now podcast. If you do not follow us on X, Instagram, or YouTube, feel free to do so. We're getting over 100. I think we're getting close to 150 subscribers on YouTube. We're growing fast over there. We appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for coming on in. On behalf of myself, Tom, and Adam, thank you for listening to the Rockies Now podcast. As always, go Rockies.